You're not ready for what's coming, Commander's Nation.
This isn't a rebuild.
It's a revolution. First bombshell.
Our most underrated
Running back just got the keys to the backfield after a shady move by Peters that left the team in shock.
Is it monumental confidence or a mistake that will sink Jaden Daniels?
Second alert. The secondary is on fire. We sacrificed an icon for an unknown name your Twitter experts wouldn't mention. And the plan is so radical, it could lead us to the Super Bowl or bury us in the NFC East. But what nobody expects is, in special teams, a rookie underdog is stealing the spotlight with skills so addictive that even Quinn fears it might go viral. Why will this trifecta of moves change everything? Because if one fails, the season collapses. And only here you'll get the crucial context that ESPN won't provide. Hit the bell, like the video, and discover in the next 10 minutes how these three moves connect to Peter's malevolent plan to bury Dallas and Philly or burn in hell. Until the end, Commanders. We're starting strong. Chris Rodriguez Jr. just made the most incredible rags-to-riches story we've seen in this franchise. And Dan Quinn is completely floored by what he sees in this running back. Look, I'm going to tell you something many people don't understand about Rodriguez's situation. This guy arrived here as an absolute nobody, a running back bouncing between the practice squad and active roster like a ping pong ball for the last 2 years. Signed one day, cut the next, back on the practice squad, promoted again. It was a vicious cycle that would have broken any normal player. But do you know what Rodriguez did once everyone had already written him off? The man decided he was done being invisible. He worked like a NIAC throughout the entire offseason. I'm not talking about a little extra cardio or lifting some weights. This guy completely transformed. Dan Quinn can't contain his excitement when he talks about Rodriguez, and that tells me everything I need to know. Listen to what the head coach said. When someone shows again and again that they're willing to work, find the right read, not just physically but mentally and on special teams, he's a player this team truly trusts. That's nitrogen monoxide accident. Quinn is talking about a player who has proven himself utterly reliable in every phase of the game. Not just running the ball, but reading defenses, executing blocks, covering kicks, making tackles in coverage. Rodriguez has become the definition of a team player. But here comes the part that drives me absolutely crazy. Peters wouldn't have moved Brian Robinson Jr. to the San Francisco 49ers for just a 6th-round pick if he wasn't completely, absolutely, 100% sure Rodriguez could not only fill those shoes but exceed them. I'm telling you this. Trading Robinson wasn't a desperate last-minute decision. It was a calculated statement that the organization sees more upside in Rodriguez than in the running back we all thought would be our starter for years to come. And do you know why Peters made such a risky decision? Because Cliff Kingsbury was completely honest about what he needs in his offensive scheme. Kingsbury wants more explosive, dynamic running backs, people who can make big plays from anywhere on the field. Robinson was solid, reliable, durable, but lacked that extra explosiveness Kingsbury's looking for. Rodriguez spent the entire offseason working specifically on that. He got leaner but maintained his power. Improved his acceleration without losing his ability to break tackles. Developed better vision to find the gaps Kingsbury designs in his system. And more importantly, he proved he could create those big plays that can change the momentum of an entire game. Quinn also revealed something super important that many are overlooking. Rodriguez is going to be our new short yardage and goal line back now that Robinson is out of the equation. Do you realize how huge this is? We're talking about the most crucial game situations, where every carry can mean the difference between a touchdown or a field goal, that Quinn is willing to trust. Rodriguez with these responsibilities tells me this guy hasn't just improved physically, but is mentally on a completely different level. Short yardage and goal line carries require perfect reading, perfect timing, and a warrior mentality. Rodriguez has proven he has all that. Now I ask you, do you think Dan Quinn The same guy who's built championship-level defenses would give the most important carries of the game to someone he doesn't trust 1,000%? You must be crazy to think so. Rodriguez earned his spot with pure muscle, dedication, intelligence, and measurable results. It wasn't because someone got injured, politics, or luck. It was because this man decided to become a superior version of himself, accomplishing it step by step, day by day. For months, the presence of rookie Jackery Krosky Merritt, selected in the 7th round, also played a significant role in this decision. Peters saw enough depth at the position to move Robinson and fully bet on Rodriguez as his main guy. It's the most inspiring story we've seen in years. A guy who was nearly definitively cut last year is now poised to be a key piece in our chase for the Super Bowl. If that doesn't motivate you as fans, I don't know what will. If the story of Rodriguez surprises you, wait until you hear this, because the situation with safety is making waves for completely different and, frankly, much more controversial reasons. Will Harris came in to replace Jeremy Chinn after Peters decided not to renew the strong safety who had been one of the faces of our defense in recent years. And I think many fans are wondering if Peters made a monumental mistake that will cost us dearly this season. Let me be completely honest with you. Losing Chinn hurt a lot. This guy was the tone setter in our defense, the hammer everyone respected, the enforcer that made receivers think twice about crossing the middle. His physical presence was undeniable, and seeing him sign with the Las Vegas Raiders felt like losing a part of the soul of our secondary. Chinn had that old-school safety mentality that's almost non-existent in the league. The guy came in like a guided missile whenever he saw a vulnerable receiver. His hit power was legendary, and more than once we saw offensive coordinators change their game plans, specifically to avoid exposing their playmakers to Chinn's hits. But here's the part many fans don't understand, and what Peters probably evaluated with much detail before making this decision. Chinn, as intimidating as he was physically, had serious deficiencies in coverage that were limiting what Joe Witt Jr. could do with our defensive scheme. Do you remember how many times we saw Chinn completely lost when covering tight ends on seam routes? How many times did we see him coming in late to cover running backs coming out of the backfield? I do remember, and frankly, it wasn't pretty to watch. Will Harris bring something completely different to the table, and Peters is betting that those skills will be more valuable in the system we want to run. Harris can deliver the same big hit in open field when necessary, but he can also run step for step with tight ends, match running backs in coverage, and rotate to different spots without missing a beat. That's exactly what Joe Witt Jr. needs to fully implement his defensive vision. Witt wants to move his safeties like chess pieces, rotate coverages, show one thing pre-snap, and execute something completely different post-snap. With Chinn, many of those options were limited because we knew that in certain coverages, he would be the weak link. Harris gives us the versatility we have been searching for. The guy can play deep, play in the box, handle slot receivers in certain situations. He's exactly the type of positionless safety that the most successful modern defenses in the league are valuing. But the real revelation of our secondary will be Quan Martin finally healthy. Did you know that Martin played most of last season with both shoulders injured? The guy was literally playing with constant pain, limiting his movements, affecting his ability to tackle and break on routes. Imagine what this guy will do now that he can use his arms 100%. Martin already gave us a glimpse of his potential with that demolishing pick six against Jared Goff in playoffs. That play was pure instinct, pure football IQ, and perfect technique. And that was with compromised shoulders. A fully healthy Quan Martin is a free safety who can compete with anyone in the league. His range is exceptional, his ball skills are elite, and his football intelligence is at a superior level. I honestly believe Martin will be one of the defensive revelations of the entire NFL this season. Jeremy Reaves will finally get what he deserves after years of being criminally underused in defense. This man has been all-pro on special teams, demonstrated he can tackle, read routes,
and has natural football instincts. Quinn is giving him the opportunity he should have had long ago. I'm telling you this. Reeves is going to surprise many people when he starts getting more defensive snaps. His open field tackle against New England in preseason was a perfect demonstration that he's ready for more responsibilities. The guy hit like a truck, but also showed great form and technique. Depth is also better than many people think. Percy Butler remains a force on special teams. The guy had 13 special teams tackles last season, placing him among the top tacklers in the league in those units. And Tyler Owens is developing into a serious athlete who could become a real contributor if he continues improving at the pace he's shown. Owens had 10 special teams tackles last year, ranking 5th in the entire league. Do you realize how insane that number is for a rookie? This guy has off-the-charts athleticism and is beginning to understand the professional game at a level that could make him very valuable moving forward. The chemistry between Martin and Harris will be crucial for the success of our entire secondary. These two need to communicate perfectly, need to trust each other completely, and need to complement their skill sets seamlessly. Early reports from training camp suggest they're developing good rapport, but obviously, the true test will come when they start facing real NFL offenses. But that's nothing compared to what's coming, because we have a rookie who arrived without much noise, but is about to become a much more important piece than anyone anticipated. Jalen Lane arrived from Virginia Tech as a late-round pick that many saw as a depth piece, but Dan Quinn sees something completely different in this slot receiver. Did you know Quinn is very seriously considering Lane as our starting punt returner? And when I say considering, I mean he's probably already made the decision and is just waiting for the right moment to announce it officially. This guy isn't just fast and explosive in straight-line speed. He has that special elusiveness. You need to return punts at the NFL level. But what really has Quinn excited isn't just Lane's return ability. It's the way this rookie is absorbing Bobby Ingram's teachings like a completely dry sponge. His development in route running, specifically in option routes, is literally improving week by week. Quinn was very specific when he talked about Lane's development, and that tells me they're seeing improvement that goes beyond what they expected. You can almost see the drill work come into play, Quinn said. Seeing how to fully express how to work somebody into technique. That's a really big deal. That's not coach speak. That's Quinn genuinely impressed by the rate of improvement he's seeing in a rookie. Many thought would need at least a full year to contribute meaningfully. The key thing Lane is mastering is something many college receivers struggle with when they reach the NFL, defeating man-to-man coverage with technique rather than just speed. In college, especially in those tempo offenses that play super fast, receivers can often rely on pure speed and scheme to get open. In the NFL, you need to actually beat your defender with footwork, with route running precision, with an understanding of leverage. Quinn explained it perfectly. In college, plays are faster than we play, so you see less matching in tight coverage. So they're able to run their routes at full speed and hit it and go to the next play. Running an option route, defeating leverage, beating people in man-to-man, that's been impressive development. Lane is learning to slow down his routes when necessary to sell the defender, is learning to use his footwork to create separation rather than just trying to run past people. These are advanced concepts that usually take rookies much longer to grasp, but Lane is picking it up at an accelerated pace. The fact that the Commanders only kept 5 receivers on the final roster tells us everything we need to know about their confidence in Lane. You don't carry so few weapons unless you're absolutely certain every single one of them can contribute immediately. Lane isn't just making the team as special teams depth. He's making it because they expect him to play offensive snaps from day one. I'm telling you this. Lane will see action against the New York Giants in Week 1, and I predict he'll make at least one play that will have everyone asking, who is this kid? He's exactly the type of under-the-radar pickup that successful organizations make look easy. Bobby Ingram deserves huge credit for Lane's rapid development. engram, has been working specifically with Lane on those intermediate routes that are so important in Kingsbury's system. The slot position in this offense requires incredible precision because you're often running routes in tight windows, with linebackers and safeties converging from multiple angles. Lane's size and athleticism make him perfect for that role. He's not the biggest receiver, but he has that quick twitch explosion you need to separate in short areas. And more importantly, he's showing that football intelligence that can't be taught, understanding where the soft spots in coverage will be, how to adjust his routes based on what the defense is showing. The return game has also been an area of concern for Washington in recent years. Having a reliable, dynamic return man can completely change field position battles, especially in what figures to be a very competitive NFC East. Lane could give us that field position advantage that can be the difference between winning and losing close games. And now we come to what might be the most intriguing development of all, because while everyone is focused on this upcoming season, Adam Peters already has his eyes set on 2026. And there's one specific name that should have all Washington fans extremely excited. Harold Perkins Jr. This LSU linebacker just put on an absolutely demolishing performance against Clemson in Week 1 of the college football season, and when I say demolishing, I'm talking about a complete clinic on how to play the linebacker position at the highest possible level. Did you see that game? Perkins was everywhere. Literally everywhere. In every single big play LSU made defensively, there was Perkins either making the play himself or setting it up for someone else. His explosive burst to create havoc in the Clemson backfield was evident throughout the entire game. What really impressed me about Perkins wasn't just his individual plays, although those were spectacular, but the way he controlled the entire second level of LSU's defense. The guy was reading routes before quarterbacks even finished their drops, filling gaps before running backs even got there, providing help in coverage before receivers even completed their breaks. After missing the entire 2024 season with a torn ACL, many people wondered if Perkins would come back at the same level. ACL injuries, especially for linebackers who depend so much on explosion and change of direction, can be career-altering. But Perkins looked like he never missed a snap. Actually, he looked better than he did before the injury. His partnership with Whit Weeks in that LSU defense was poetry in motion. These two linebackers were communicating perfectly, complementing each other's movements, creating a wall that Clemson simply could not consistently penetrate. That type of chemistry, that type of football IQ, that type of instinctual play, you can't teach that stuff. I'm telling you this. Peters was definitely watching that game with intense interest, and Perkins probably got highlighted immediately on whatever draft board they're already building for 2026. This is exactly the type of player Peters loves: high football IQ, elite athleticism, and proven ability to perform in big moments against top competition. And why should Washington fans be excited? Because Bobby Wagner won't be here forever. The man is in the twilight of a Hall of Fame career, and though still playing at a high level, Father Time is undefeated. We need to start planning for his eventual replacement, and Perkins could be that guy. Imagine a linebacker duo of Frankie Louvu and Harold Perkins Jr. Louvu brings that veteran presence, reliability, steady football intelligence. Perkins would bring explosive athleticism, game-changing ability, that pure disruptive force that can single-handedly alter offensive game plans. Perkins' ability to get after the quarterback would also be invaluable to our defense. In that game against Clemson, every time he had a clear path to the QB, he was there before the quarterback even knew what happened. That type of pass rush from the linebacker position is incredibly valuable because it doesn't require sending extra bodies, meaning more defenders in coverage. His coverage skills also look tremendous. Perkins was matching running backs out of the backfield, getting depth on intermediate routes, showing the type of range modern NFL linebackers absolutely must have to survive in today's pass-heavy league. Peters is building this roster with a very specific vision in mind, and everything he's doing suggests he wants versatile, athletic, high IQ players at every position. Perkins fits that profile perfectly. He's not just a traditional linebacker. He's a chess piece that could be moved around, utilized in different packages, creating mismatches for opposing offenses. Right now, Perkins is projected to be a day 2 pick in the 2026 draft. But if he maintains this level of performance throughout the season, entering the first-round conversation is definitely within the realm of possibility. And frankly, after seeing what he did against Clemson, I wouldn't have any problem whatsoever with Washington using a first-round pick on him if he's available. The injury history obviously needs to be monitored closely. ACL recoveries, even when they go perfectly, always carry some element of risk for re-injury or changes in mobility and explosion. But based on what we saw in Week 1, Perkins looks like he's completely past that concern. LSU also has a history of developing NFL-ready linebackers, and their strength and conditioning program, coaching staff, overall development system gives Perkins every opportunity to continue improving throughout this college season. Peters and his scouting staff will be following Perkins very closely throughout this entire season. Every game, every practice, every measurable, they're going to want to know everything about this kid before draft time approaches. And based on early indications, Perkins is going to be near the top of their board. Now, after analyzing all these moves individually, let me explain why everything Peters is doing makes perfect sense when you look at the bigger picture. All these moves, all these decisions, all these calculated risks that Peters is taking have one ultimate goal: to maximize the chances Jayden Daniels has everything he needs to not just succeed, but to excel at the highest possible level in his rookie season. Rodriguez gives us that explosiveness in the backfield that can take pressure off Daniels in short yardage situations. Instead of always having to convert third and shorts with his arm, Daniels can hand it off to a back who's shown the ability to break tackles and create big plays, even when the defense knows exactly what's coming. Harris and the improved safety depth give us that versatility in the secondary that allows Joe Witt Jr. to get creative with his coverages. When your safeties can handle multiple responsibilities, you can disguise your intentions better, create more confusion for opposing quarterbacks, and put your pass rushers in better positions to succeed. A completely healthy Quan Martin gives. Use a true center fielder who can clean up mistakes, make those game-changing interceptions, and provide that last line of defense when everything else breaks down. For a rookie quarterback, knowing you have that type of safety net behind you can be incredibly valuable psychologically. Jalen Lane gives us that extra dimension in special teams that can consistently provide better field position for our offense. When you're starting drives at your 35-yard line instead of your 20-yard line because of good return work, that makes every offensive possession easier and more manageable. And looking ahead to 2026, Peters is already planning for how to continue building around Daniels once we have a better understanding of exactly what his strengths and weaknesses are at the NFL level. Perkins represents that type of defensive playmaker who can win games single-handedly, who can create short fields for your offense, who can be a difference maker in playoff situations. This organization finally has a plan, finally has direction, finally has vision, finally has leadership that understands how to build a sustainable winner in the modern NFL. These aren't random moves made because Peters felt like shaking things up. Each decision builds upon the previous one. Each player acquisition fits into a larger puzzle we're gradually seeing come together. I guarantee what we've seen so far is only the beginning. Peters is thinking multiple years ahead, planning for contingencies we probably haven't even considered yet, building depth and competition at every single position. The culture change is also becoming obvious. Players like Rodriguez are being rewarded purely based on merit and performance. Veterans like Wagner are being brought in to provide leadership and stability. Young players like Lane are being given opportunities to contribute immediately if they earn them. Quinn and his coaching staff also deserve enormous credit for creating an environment where players feel empowered to reach their full potential. Rodriguez's transformation doesn't happen without coaches who believe in him and push him to be better. Lane's rapid development doesn't happen without position coaches willing to invest the time and energy in teaching fundamentals. This creates a positive feedback loop where players see hard work getting rewarded, where competition breeds excellence, and where everyone realizes their role is important to overall team success. Now, I want to know what you think about all this. Do you believe Rodriguez can not just fill Robinson's shoes, but actually be an upgrade at running back? Will Harris prove Peters made the right call letting Chin walk to Vegas? Will Lane be our future return specialist while also significantly contributing on offense? And are you excited about the possibility of drafting Harold Perkins Jr. in 2026? Leave me your answers in the comments because I need to hear from this family of Commanders fans and know exactly how you're feeling about all these major changes. If you believe Peters is constructing something truly special in Washington, something that could result in our first championship in over 3 decades, give this video a like and let's get this discussion trending. If you want to continue analyzing every single move this organization makes, every rumor that surfaces, every development that could affect our team's future, subscribe to the channel because we're going to be here covering everything with the depth and passion this franchise and these fans deserve. We are more than just fans. We are a burgundy and gold family that has suffered together through decades of disappointment and false hope. But now, finally, we have reason to believe something special is being built. Join this community. Be part of this historic journey we are about to embark upon. And remember, hail to the Commanders.